welcome to my channel. My name is Eva Eik. I do singing, songwriting, I'm a mystic, channeler, medium, I do light language, and today in this video I felt really called to talk about fairies, the fae. Why, you might ask? The reason is that they've approached me and asked me to make a video about them. So, like I said, I'm a medium and I talk to different beings. And a lot of the beings that are portrayed as just these fantastical creatures that don't exist, dragons, fairies, unicorns, in my opinion, they do exist. And a lot of other people also agree with that. So I don't know where you stand on that, but keep that in mind when watching this video. If it doesn't resonate, then maybe just don't watch it, or watch it, but remember to be respectful, please. Thank you. Okay, so who are the fairies? Who are the fae? So I'm just going to share from my point of view, from my perspective, and from my experience in working as a psychic medium, as a channeler, as a clairvoyant. You know, I'm going to share what my perspective is, and if something doesn't resonate, then just leave it, of course. And let me know in the comments if you have any experiences with the fae, if you want to. Only if you want to share, of course. So, who are the fairies? From my point of view, from my perspective, from what I've channeled, they are beings that coexist on different planets and in different places, in different dimensions. I know that sounds really vague, probably to a lot of people, but that's how I see it. So, from my perspective, different beings have different levels of densities. So you can think of that as some beings are more light beings, as in they're not as physical as we perceive ourselves to be. So yeah. basically, you know how the human eye has a very limited light spectrum. You know, we only see a tiny bit of the light. So basically, from my perspective, a lot of beings exist kind of outside of what us humans can see. It's often referred to as beyond the veil. In my experience, fairies can actually sometimes show themselves to humans. But that can require a bit of quite a bit of energy, depending also on the human, because some humans have an easier time engaging with the fairy beings than others. Okay, so for someone who has their clairaudience, their clairvoyance, their clairs more active, it's going to be easier than if someone has, you know, doesn't have any kind of ongoing relationship with their psychic abilities. Because from my point of view, we all have psychic abilities, but we can activate them. Not everyone activates their psychic abilities to the same extent. It depends on the soul mission, the soul path, genetic disposition, predisposition, as well. For some humans in some bloodlines might have an easier time. Also depends on the soul. Where has the soul incarnated before? Does it have a lot of training? Basically, when it comes to, for example, shamanism or being a priestess, and so on. So let's get back to the fairy. So, from my perspective, and I'm just going to share what I feel called to share in this video. I'm not going to cover everything because I can't cover everything in one YouTube video. It would be a very long YouTube video if I was going to try. If you're interested in more information about fairies, then comment below. So, who are the fairies? So, from my perspective, they are multidimensional beings that kind of exist on a different plane of existence than the humans. But they're also coexisting with us. So, when I use my third eye, when I, for example, walk around walk in the forest or outside or even inside, I might see fairies in my third eye, and sometimes I do also see them with my normal eyes, if that makes sense, with my human eyes, either as orbs or flashes and so on. I'm not used to talking about this online, just to be completely honest with you. I talk about this a lot in my sessions with clients, of course. But usually online I've been mainly singing and doing light language, so it feels a little bit different actually talking about fairies, but they were very insistent, so here we are. I hope it's helpful, or at least entertaining in a good way. But yeah, basically the fairies have kind of been forgotten about a lot in the collective consciousness. There used to be a lot more I'm hearing intermingling, between the humans and the Fae people. The thing is that there's been a lot of programming, a lot of information saying that they are just fantasy, and also a little bit, or a lot really, of a demonization of them, saying that they were demons and even evil entities and so on because of certain religions. Nothing against religions. But yeah, a lot has been done in the name of religion that hasn't been good. I'm just going to say that. That's where I'm leaving that. But I respect that everyone has their own religion and their own belief systems. Fairies. So basically, fairies are more multidimensional beings. And why are they here? Well, they have lives. And they often work with plants. They help plants and animals and also humans. They can be a little bit wary of humans because there has been a lot of, conflict between humans and fairies, and sometimes disrespect even. Also keep in mind, this is something that I think is important to mention. I'm just sharing from my point of view, is that fairies do have more of an ego than an angel, let's say. So there are both good and bad fairies, if you want to say that. Like, there are good and bad humans. I'm not saying that humans are good or bad. I'm just saying, like, humans have different personalities, right? And you might meet a human that is kinder and cares more about the well-being of everyone than another human. Another human might not care as much. And it's kind of the same with fairies, not to the same extent, I'm hearing. But some fairies kind of prefer to keep them to themselves more and maybe have different priorities. The fairies that I'm hearing want to come through and work more with humans, with humanity, are the fairies that they care about the well-being of Gaia, they care about humans. And fairies can be really fun to work with. They can help in so many ways. At the end of this video, I'm planning to bring through a fairy energy transmission, light language, light code healing. Just thought I'll let you know. But yeah, there are many ways for people to work with fairies. So basically, it's important to have intention setting, to set the intention that one wishes to work with fairies. That's like the first step, because of the law of free will. Because the fairies that are kind and sweet and care about the highest good of all, they're of course going to then respect people's free will. Right. So you can then, if you want to set the intention that you'd like to connect with fairies, that it is for your highest good to connect to, that are aligned to, for example, Christ consciousness, unconditional love, the highest good of all. That's what I would probably do if I was new at connecting with fairies. Again, because there is a spectrum here of fairies that are really up for helping, and then fairies that don't necessarily. Some fairies can also be very playful, and they can do like pranks and stuff. So yeah, basically, keep that in mind when talking to fairies. They can be a little bit mischievous. fairies have personalities. That is my perspective, and that's my message about that. But you can definitely work with fairies. Fairies are very fun. They love crystals. They love natural things. If you want to gift fairies something, then make sure that it is that is something that is going to be biodegradable. So don't leave them some plastic thing in nature, you know. If you're gonna, for example, build a fairy altar, I'm not saying to worship fairies, but I'm just saying if there's a particular place, for example, in your garden where you would like to welcome the fairies, you could, for example, use natural items made of wood, for example, and create like a fairy house or make a fairy door. But fairies, they can get angry when people litter. So yeah, I'm just saying, I feel like I'm a spokesperson for the fairies right now. And if some of you guys are watching and you don't believe in fairies, I must think it sounds completely bonkers, which is okay, because that is kind of how the Western world, and I guess other parts as well, kind of how they think, you know, about fairies, is that they're not real. But from my perspective, they are very real. But yeah, like I said, only watch this video if it resonates, and please be respectful. Thank you. Okay, so why might you want fairies in the garden? Well, because they bring such a beautiful energy, and they really want to help, right? And they can really help raise the vibration of your house or your garden. But make sure, I feel like I'm just going to have to say this again, make sure that you call in the fairies that are aligned to the highest good of all. If you're not comfortable with the term Christ consciousness, then maybe don't use that. But I personally believe in Christ consciousness and Jesus Christ, and I use the word God and source interchangeably. But yeah, you do you. So when I say Christ consciousness, you could also say unconditional love and the highest good of all. If you prefer instead, these are of course only suggestions. You do what feels right. Right. But it's important to be respectful, you know, and to remember that they are beings. They might just not be able to, they might just be kind of invisible to the humans, if that makes sense. But if you have clairsentience, you might be able to feel them around you. If you have clairvoyance, you might be able to see them either in your third eye or you know, actually see them. Clairaudience might hear them. You might have a mix of the psychic abilities. So I have all my psychic abilities. So I have a mix of all this, which is kind of why I think it's a lot easier for me to believe in these things. If I didn't have my psychic abilities turned on, it might have been a little bit harder for me to believe in fairies personally. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that. So fairies are very keen on raising the vibration of Earth, and they are very against things such as littering most of the time. I mean, this is a generalization, but that is what I'm hearing now. That's what I'm being called to share. So yeah, fairies are a very important part of the Earth's ecosystem actually, and they work in tandem with plants, with the natural world. They help animals, and they really, really appreciate it when we do some of the work as well, you know, picking up litter, taking care of animals, plants, when we're kind to each other, kind to animals, kind to plants, remembering that we're all one, you know? So the fairies also have a message today that they want to say that it's important that you choose to love yourself, that we as humans choose to love ourselves, because they're talking about there's been this almost indoctrination, or this push almost in a lot of religions, and also not just religious, but in other, I'm hearing in different parts of the world, in different parts of society, this self-sacrificial tendency. And I'm hearing the fairies are kind of tired of that, you know, as in basically this, the narrative can be that it is more important to take care of other people than yourself, and to kind of self-sacrifice, that it is noble to self-sacrifice. But they're talking about how when we self-sacrifice, then if we're all last on our own list, then we have to be higher up on other people's list, and it becomes this codependency pattern in society. And they're talking about how it's, of course, really nice to help other people, and that is so beautiful to help other people. They're just saying that self-neglect is not something to be aimed for. So, for example, if you're on an airplane, they say put on your own oxygen mask first, you know, because then you can help others with their oxygen mask. But if you run out of oxygen, it's a lot harder for you to help other people. So they're talking about that. They are excited to see more and more humans putting themselves higher on their list, if that makes sense, on their priority list, and that they are choosing to love themselves, take good care of themselves, their bodies, their spiritual health, their mental health. And they're just saying this is not to shame anyone if someone hasn't been necessarily taking that good care of themselves. It's more meant to be a message of encouragement, to encourage people to prioritize self-love, because self-love is very important. Because they're showing me us as, you know, you can imagine that each human has a light. And when we are doing what brings us joy, what we find fun, what we love doing, it's like our light is brighter. And that is really good, not only for ourselves, but also for the whole of humanity, because we do have a collective humanity as well. Like, we're all impacting each other. And we are also impacting the fairies and the animals and the earth. So I'm just remembering that you are indeed very, very important is important to remember. Because there can be this tendency, they're saying, especially in the West, to think that one person doesn't matter. I'm just one person. Yes, but one person can make such a difference. So, yeah, these are the messages I have from the fairies. So you can set the intention that you wish to connect more with the fairies. You could, for example, leave them a little bit of honey on a spoon in the backyard. So what they'll do then is they might not actually come and eat the honey, but maybe an animal will. But they might take some of the energy in the honey. So they'll still get something out of the honey, if that makes sense. Or you could leave them something else. You don't have to leave them anything at all. You could just set the intention that you wish to connect with the fairies. Again, I'm just going to say that are aligned to Christ consciousness and the highest good of all and unconditional love. That's just what I would probably do or say. But you do you, of course. But like, I'm just going to say quickly that fairies do have personalities. So yeah, keep that in mind. Like, there are good spirits and bad spirits, if that makes sense. So some spirits might be more trickster spirits, and some spirits might be really kind and helpful. It's kind of like that. You want to be very you want to have intention. You want to be clear with your intention when it comes to connecting with beings on the other side, especially if you're not used to it. I really invite you to set the intention. You can also set the intention that only what's for your highest good, just let it happen. So only what is for my highest good. Okay, so now I'm going to bring through a little activation to help you connect more easily with the fairies that are aligned to unconditional love and Christ consciousness and the highest good of all. Of course, only listen to this if you want to, and by listening to this, watching this, you're taking full responsibility for your well-being in all regards, of course. I'm going to call upon the fairies that are aligned to Christ consciousness and the highest good of all and unconditional love to surround you with whatever frequencies are for your highest good right now, and to help clear your aura, chakras, and fields, to help fill your space with energies of love and peace and joy. Oh, and another thing you can do, I'm just hearing quickly, if you wish to connect more with fairies, is you could, for example, place crystals around your space or in your garden. They love crystals. Crystals have a really high vibration. You can also have plants. They love plants. They love high vibrations, basically. So taking a deep breath in and deep breath out. I'm here. Remember, you're a sovereign being. You decide yourself what energies you engage with, what you don't engage with. You can decide what beings you wish to communicate with. Remembering that we're all one. The fairies aren't better than humans, of course. We're all equally loved by Source, by God, by the Creator. We are all part of the same energy. Remember to be kind to yourself. Releasing shame, guilt. Because sometimes these energies of shame, guilt, old grief, I'm hearing self-concepts that are distorted, can make it harder to really experience self-love, and also can make it harder to have clear connection with spirit, with your higher self, with source. Because it's kind of like seeing the world through distorted glasses. Remembering you're infinitely loved, you're perfect, you're loved, you're complete. Riakatraya iasatrale clearing distortion. So imagining white light now flowing all around you, clearing your aura, your chakras, your field. Imagining a cocoon of white and golden light around you, healing any holes, your tears in your aura. We invite you now, if you wanted, to invite in your guardian angel that loves you unconditionally, aligned to Christ consciousness, if you want to wrap its wings around you. So we all have a guardian angel. That is my belief, my perspective anyway, so only take what resonates, and it's always there. So I invite you to open your eyes when you're ready, wiggling your fingers and toes. This video was much longer than I anticipated. But yeah, thank you if you made it all the way through. Let me know in the comments how you found that, if you'd like. It's so nice that more and more humans, what to say, people are choosing to connect more with these higher vibrational beings, energies, even just having a more conscious connection to self and even your higher self and source. It's just so beautiful to watch. I think that anyways. Yeah, because we're all one. So thank you for being here today. Remember to subscribe if you want to. So I'm going to be posting more videos, such as light language, light code videos, singing videos, and talking videos. Maybe I'll make a vlog at some point. I don't know. I'm just gonna make whatever feels right, really. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you experienced it, and if you have any experience with the fairies, if you have any questions, or if you have any requests for what videos you'd like me to make. And I wish you a beautiful, wonderful rest of the day and rest of the week. Lots of love. Bye!